So who is the best QB in MUT? It's the conversation I wanted to have in this video. This is going to be a post commentary in the background. You are seeing a very entertaining head-to-head seasons gameplay. It's actually this player's Super Bowl. So Seahawks versus Chiefs. I want to say he has Seahawks themed team. And by the way, for my quarterback that I'm using in this game, it is going to be Mark Brunell, the new 96. I have Hot Rod Master, Fearless, and Set Feet lead on him, if you are curious. But that is the conversation I wanted to have, because I think it's a conversation worth having. This Madden 23, Madden 22 at this time last year, we had, quarterback Derrick Henry, and he was what 90% of MUT players use. Whereas this year, I will give credit to EA and maybe even some credit to the community. Probably the most parity amongst QBs we've ever seen in a year of Madden, at least to this point, right? There's 5 or 6 QBs I would say people are using. You have Elway, Mark Brunell clones. I would say you have Tom Brady, which is the consensus best QB in the game. But then you also have your guys like Randall Cunningham, Steve Young, reading Lamar Jackson a few hours after I'm done recording this. So that is, what, 6 or 7 QBs that a lot. And there's more that I'm sure people are using. You see our opponent using Geno Smith. But in terms of the high-end meta QBs, there's probably 3 or 4 options I'd say most people want to use. And I have used Mark Brunell this week and haven't played too many games, played around 8 or 9 with them. Switched to John Elway to Brunell. They have the same release, except for, Brunell has 5 AP and then Elway is 7 AP. I have been a little bit disappointed with Mark Brunell. I don't know if it's because he's a lefty, but his release for some reason feels a tad, I don't know if it's a hitch in his release, it feels a tad slower than John Elway. The more I use Brunell, the more I want to be, I want to switch to like Steve Young with Gunslinger. The only thing holding me back, or Brady, for example. The reason I don't want Brady is he's Tom Brady. I don't really want to use him. But the reason I don't want to go to a Steve Young, maybe potentially a Lamar Jackson, if his abilities are also good, is for the sole reason I have played with Fearless this entire year. I have played with Hot Rod Master this entire year. So my offense and my understanding of Madden 23 is definitely skewed and relied on, it's just the safety net. Like, I know how to, the Madden that I learned to play this year, I have to have Fearless, I have to have Hot Rod Master. So that's the only reason why I wouldn't really say I use Steve Young, because he definitely has he probably has the fastest release in the game with Gunslinger at all 3 levels. You just can't, you can only have one of Fearless or one of Hot Rod Master. Or I don't even think it's Fearless. I think you just pretty much just can't have Hot Rod Master with Steve Young, or it's just way too expensive for the ability combo. But yeah, so far right now, 0-0. We're finally getting in the red zone. We're going to get a little stuck. Also, this was my second game. I'm trying out the Washington Commanders playbook there, by the way. Steve Young on those high throws, man. Not Steve Young, Mark Brunell. I mean, they're basically, I think they're both number 8, so they look identical. But Mark Brunell, overthrow right there. We have to settle 3. We're going to get some pressure, though, on DB Fire to in that dollar defense. But yeah, this is my first game with a Washington Commanders playbook. I'm trying out their bunch. I feel like my bunch has become a little bit too predictable, especially to the smarter players I see in Weekend League. Finished 21-4 this past week. Not as good as 24-1 the previous week, but it's okay. I was 18-1, then I faltered a little bit down the stretch in my first games with Mark Brunell. I definitely had some struggles. Gonna try to hit DK Metcalf over that. I'm wondering if he does have 50 out of 50, and that DK would have, what, 96, 97 speed. 2nd and 10 to run. But back to the conversation about quarterbacks. Let me know down in the comments. Love that swap, by the way, by Ted Hendricks. Let me know down in the comments who you guys are using. To talk a little bit, though, more about Mark Brunell, what I like, what I don't like about him. And I will say, with the lefty thing, and I think it was a problem with Michael Vick, when you try to scramble with a lefty QB, they take forever to, accelerate out of the pocket. So that definitely is a downside. I really hope Lamar Jackson has some good abilities. You guys will, of course, let me down in the comments below. Hopefully Lamar Jackson ends up being my QB. I would like to maybe get away from that Slinger 1. I definitely rely on Slinger 1 a little bit. But our opponent, man, this was a really good game. He definitely uses a wide variety of formations. Later in the game, you're going to see what really helps me. May or may not activates the X factor of Geno Smith. But let me know how you guys have been enjoying Madden 23. It's definitely gone a little stagnant for me. I would have done a live commentary, but I actually wasn't recording when I made this video. It's kind of the plan. I wanted to talk about quarterbacks, talk about Madden 23, the meta in general, I would say, because I play, when you play Weekend League, if you're in the high levels of head-to-head seasons, it feels like you play the tight offense, or not even bunch. Bunch was weird. Bunch really isn't meta this year, but tight is, and you're going to play tight 80% of the time. By the way, look at this play. Taysom Hill just torching man-to-man coverage at the end of the half. You want to talk about a momentum swing 7-3. Now it's 10-7, and I'm also getting ball to start the second half. Still figuring out the Washington Commanders bunch. The reasons why I went to it again, like I said, it was a little bit too predictable with my other bunch, but there's probably more. There's more ways, because I've started to notice now, the man coverage I'm not having too many issues with. It's when I play people that do run a tricky zone blitz scheme, and my zone plays, my zone beaters, my last bunch, again, a little bit too predictable. This has more, I would say, deep shots, can attack cover 2, cover 3, deep down the field in the likes of that Taysom Hill route, just torching man, but also that would torch cover 2. But the meta, man, in Madden, it is 90% bunch. Defensively, it's there's not really, I'd say, a meta. There's definitely people that run dollar, nickel, but I haven't really struggled too much on offense, at least on All Pro, and I don't really think, other than the loop blitz, which I have not, unfortunately, fingers crossed, I don't play it next weekend, but I did not play the loop blitz this weekend. I don't really want to play that, but I haven't played too many people running that. I think I played 1 or 2 opponents last weekend that ran the loop blitz. But my defense, you guys, as you guys do know, is that dollar DB fire 2. I should, by the way, absolute laser, by the way, Mark Brunell, a little free form completion. Been trying to learn how to free form. It's definitely tough. It's I'm definitely stubborn when it comes to learning new mechanics, and I just didn't want to. I didn't really see the true benefits, but when you do play someone that runs man-to-man, being able to freeform to the sideline or up the field or inside, or it really, really helps. So there you see, Geno Smith does light up as an X factor. He is Omaha, so he can see my entire defense, and I will say he used this to the best of his ability. When someone does have Omaha, that DB Fire 2 is not that good, because they can see DB Fire 2 is always going to have 1 or 2 weaknesses on your cover shell. Sorry. It's just the pressure when it gets to you. That's really what makes the defense good. But when you know what defense and where my zones are, that I switch every single play, he was just picking apart, just putting players exactly where they weren't in zones and just waiting to leave. I mean, you can even see a curl route. I've never seen a curl route before. There he saw a cloud flat, put DK on a streak, and just like that, it's 17-14 with 333. And I was 100% not comfortable yet in the Washington playbook. He was running a lot more man than zone, and I didn't really know exactly what to do. Like right here, he ran man. I'm fortunate enough, I had a guy open, but again, I tried to freeform, pass over the top, but again, that's one of those times where he got open. CeeDee Lamb was open by a few yards, but I had not had too many reps with Washington, so I didn't really know if I needed to highball that, freeform that up the field. I didn't really know. But now Geno does have his X factor, and he's still picking me apart, running some corner routes, running some edges. There he goes back to the curl route. Luckily, we finally get the pressure. We have to get 2 incompletions for him to get out of the X factor or in the zone. And there's one of them. He completes it, though, into the seam, 1st and goal, and he's scrambling. I really wish he would have thrown this way. Fumble, by the way, but he does recover. I really wish that would have been an incompletion, because I get lost, not really with my user. I was just on the free safety trying to stop the run, and I get stuck with Thomas Davis. And just like that, from 17-7 with the ball, no, I didn't have the ball, 17-7 to 21-17. His Super Bowl is on the line. I can end some dreams. 1:35 left. We've got 2 timeouts, not really in a rush, and we call verticals, and verticals, the one time it does get open against man coverage, it's going to be Taysom Hill. I made a video, I think the last video I did make on this channel was talking about if George Kittle was the best tight end in the game. I still think, without a shadow of a doubt, it is Taysom Hill. He just moves a little bit faster than George Kittle. He's got that, like, slimmer player model. I don't know what it is. Kittle feels a little bit bulky, doesn't get open as much, especially with short and elite. Love Taysom Hill. Easily the best tight end in the game. I think it's going to take that Gronk for me to go off of Taysom Hill. We're going to spam Taysom Hill on some flat routes. He went more into a prevent defense, didn't play much underneath. We are going to find Plaxico, though, over the middle. The one thing with this Washington playbook, it has flood in it, which my last playbook did not have. Go to CeeDee Lamb. Can't get 2 feet in bounds. Second goal here. Going to go back to flood, because I did kind of notice I was drifting in the pocket when I actually thought he was running man here. It's why I put Taysom Hill on a quick slant. We step up in the pocket, though, and deliver a high ball dime, and T.Y. Hilton is going to make the catch, and that is going to be this game. Like I said, this was a very good play. I only played 1 head-to-head game, so I was kind of hoping it would be a good game that I could commentate over. But yes, this ends up being a very good. I thought he almost caught that, by the way, with DK Metcalf. But that's going to be all for this video. Again, comment who you guys, your favorite quarterback is, who you think is the best quarterback as well, and, you know, I'm still probably having a QB controversy in my locker room. I don't love Mark Brunell, but he's there, and the AP fits, and his sort of style of play fits my scheme a lot in my play style as a Madden player. But that is all for this video. Comment if you have any questions. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you are new, and until next time, peace.